Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and happy birthday. We are back. This is the final four of March Crackness. As always, I'm Dallas Green Eggs and Ham Away.
And joining him, I'm Matt Dinsky. Dallas, exciting matchups going on in the final four right now. I could not be more excited. I'm over the moon.
Well, I could tell that there was something different about you today, and that explains it, Matt. You are right. We are in the final four. We've got Eggmaker taking on Dallas in the first round. And one of those eggs I'm cheering for. I won't say who.
That's right. And Alpha and Omega going up against Davey Crackett in the second round. But before we get into anything, I think we've got a little pregame press conference of the players right now.
Yes, Davey, approaching the Final Four as the lowest ranked seed now, how are you feeling?
Thank you, Miss Baylor. Good to see you, as always. Listen, have you ever heard the parable of the mustard seed? Jesus taught that the smallest seed would grow to be the biggest plant. I consider myself very similar to that. While ranked lowest seed here, I have no doubts I will bring home the bacon.
Dallas, how do you feel after defeating Samurai Crack, one of the most fearsome competitors?
Well, he was a very tough component. I must say, the hat made me wonder what was underneath it, but in the end, apparently it wasn't much. Jack wasn't all he was cracked up to be.
Yes. Eggmaker, what do you think it will take to crack Dallas in this final match?
I am an Eggmaker, promise keeper, crack in the darkness. I have what it takes.
Alpha, do you think you have what it takes to defeat Davey Crackett?
Yes, Brent Lee. Inside all of us, there's a light that guides the way.
Wow, welcome back, and it sounds like our competitors had some interesting things to say in that press conference. Dallas, that is what I'd call a full court press conference.
Well, yes, I'm not really sure what you mean by that, Matt, but every one of those competitors comes from a different background, had what I felt like were some insightful things to say. It'll be interesting to see how all that plays out as they're competing
And we
against
even
each
saw
other.
some of our resident reporters in there. Miss Rachel and Brentley were down on the floor.
They are residents,
Yeah.
and they were reporting.
Before we get into any of the action in terms of our matchups today, let's first go to our resident analysis statistician, Nathan the Man Sheehan. I'm sure he's in his office right now crunching the numbers, running the systems, diagnostics, seeing where these eggs are gonna land. Nathan, are you there?
All right, okay, welcome back to Numbers with Nathan. Remember, we're here to crunch numbers and not eggs. Guys, this bracket, my bracket's trashed. The statistic bracket, it's trashed. I had to write a whole new program. I'm not gonna lie, I've been up all night. So I'm just starting fresh, just pretending the other rounds don't even exist. So it's actually just a 4-egg tournament in my mind. So new bracket, new me, am I right? Okay. Round 5. First matchup, Eggmaker and the staff favorite Dallas. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Eggmaker has a 83.4% chance of moving on to the next round, and my program has been kind of drawing some attention to Davey Crackett's hat. He's been really throwing a wrench in some of my statistics, but wow, okay, I'll give him a, let me see, 13% chance of moving forward. Remember, the numbers never lie, but apparently I might. So Matt and Dal, back to you.
Wow, well, Nathan, thank you so much. Dallas, I'm a little worried about him. He looks disheveled, to say the least.
Matt, I would like to get the boy some help, I'll be honest.
A lot of pressure on his Mathematics shoulders.
Well, let's talk about the matchup we've got here. We've got Egg Maker versus Dallas.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's anything that really lifts one of these eggs above the other?
Well, Egg Maker, he's come in strong. In some ways, no one really saw him getting this far, but he is a promise keeper, as you heard in his press conference, and so he's got a lot riding on him. But Dallas, I mean, you can speak to him better than almost anyone can.
Yeah, well, I feel like I know him well. And so it'll be interesting to see where he goes with this. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see, man.
Good insight.
We're going to see.
Good insight. Well, let's get right down to the floor. Let's see this play out. Dallas the Egg versus Egg Maker.
And it does, in some ways, all come down to this. One of these eggs is going home today. The other is moving on to the championship match.
That is how the matchups work, indeed.
Dallas's beard, it looks like he may have combed it or fluffed it, which are kind of opposite things.
A little fresh today. There's the slam.
Oh, and it is Dallas moving on to the championship.
Dallas Green Eggs and Hamaway taking it to the victory. You cannot be beaten.
Well, it's not me, Matt. It's the egg, I will say.
Well, congratulations.
I'm feeling
I know
good.
you got to be feeling good. That's your number one guy. You got him winning the whole thing.
I'm riding high, my friend.
Man, Egg Maker out of the tournament.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see if Dallas. I'm not sure. We obviously don't know. We don't have any control. But I hope that he can pull it out in that championship round and beat whoever we're gonna see in the second half.
He might. It looks hopeful right now.
It definitely does. Let's. I believe we've actually got a look behind the scenes into the locker room of the competitors. We're going to see if we can catch Dallas as he's coming off this victory and maybe even speak to Davey or Alpha and Omega before their match coming up.
All right. Brentley, Rachel, are you there?
Hey guys, this is Rachel.
And Brentley, and we are here with our final four contestants behind the scenes, giving you a view of what happens outside of the matches. Now, Rachel's going to clue you in a little more about what we're seeing here.
Well, so now we see Dallas and Egg Maker. They are after their match, just cooling down a little bit over here. Brentley, what do you have to say about the other?
Yeah, they're getting ready for their match. So what you see here is anytime after a match, this is where all of our eggs come and they prep for their next match. So just really wanted to give you guys a behind the scenes look at what really happens outside of the matches.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks guys, and see you soon.
Matt, I don't know what it was about that interview, but it gave me the chills.
Inspiring, to say the least.
That is exactly right. And speaking of inspiring, one of the competitors coming up in the second half here in the Final Four will be expiring. He will reach his expiration date. Will it be Alpha and Omega or Davey Crockett, Matt?
That's right. We're coming up on that match rapidly, but before we do, let's get a quick word from our sponsors, Chick-fil-A.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, Joel.
You know that restaurant we've been talking about lately? It's the Chick-fil-A's?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, guess what? I just came from there, and they've got a stellar, wicked, awesome breakfast menu.
Oh, you know I love breakfast, Joel.
Oh, I do. That's why I'm telling you about it.
They got biscuits?
They got biscuits. You want biscuits? They got biscuits. You want a little bit of chicken on them? They got it.
Joel, that's unbelievable.
It is. You in the mood for a bagel, Sammy?
Always.
They got a bagel, Sammy. They even put the sunflower seeds in there for you.
Sunflower seeds, Joel.
Yeah, even the sesames are
You
in
know
there.
I love my seeds.
I do. You want some jelly with your biscuit? They got jelly. They got all sorts of stuff there.
They butter my biscuit?
They butter the biscuits there. In fact, they drizzle a little bit of honey on there. They make it, it's just the right combination of salty sweet.
Joel, you know I'm a bad hot. You know I love my honeys.
I know you love your honeys. I know you love your honeys. And get this, they serve breakfast till 10:30 in the morning.
Joel, 10:30.
I mean, it's not McDonald's, but it's almost half the day.
Joel, I wake up at 10:20. That's perfect.
Let's go. We got 10 minutes right now.
What are we waiting for?
All right, here we go. The next matchup, Alpha and Omega versus Davey Crockett.
This is for it all. Well, to move on to the championship round.
Correct, yes. There's the slam. Davey Crockett puts an end to the Alpha and Omega. Dallas Greenaway, did you see what I just saw?
I saw it, Matt.
Davey Kraken pulling out a victory over Alpha and Omega. I gotta be honest, I thought no one could put an end to the beginning and end Alpha and Omega.
What an incredible match, one that will go down in the history books. One of the closest matches for the ages, that is for sure. Davey, we've talked about it all tournament. I think there's something in that hat, Matt. What do you think?
There is magic in that hat for sure. I'm about to go get myself one. I put in an order on Amazon just recently.
Well, Matt, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if it's magic or maybe some sort of breaking of the rules. I think that hat might be adding another layer of protection where Davey is obviously he seems untouchable. He may actually be untouchable thanks to that skin.
Well, it's controversial for sure, but you know, we've had a close eye on the breaks, and it's always the shell against shell. The hat seems to be out of the way, but do you think your egg is gonna have anything to say to Davey Crack?
Well, and thank you for not referring to me as being the egg. I've tried to make this as clear as possible. I am not the egg. I'm not the egg, Matt. So we could talk about this more off screen if you want to keep disagreeing about this. But yeah, I think that my egg has a really good shot. I don't know. He may even be trying to find a hat similar to the one Davey has if this really is going to give him a competitive advantage. I don't know. We're going to have to see.
All right, there you have it.
Well, our competitors have a few days to compare and contrast and, you know, study and do all of those things that will get them ready for the championship match. Maybe even Dallas will come in with a hat similar to Davey's. We'll have to find out next week. Make sure you tally up the totals of your brackets. See just how many points you have. If you are beating your friend, if you are beating your parents, and the amount of points that you have here in March Crackness. We'll see you next week. You know what we always say, 12 eggs makes a dozen.
And 13 makes the baker. See you next week.